Well, hello there. This is a very impromptu coffee shop chats. I didn't plan on recording this today. In fact, I hadn't planned on creating any content, but I really feel like I want to talk about something. There's something that I want to share today, something that's on my heart, and it was inspired by a conversation. Well, just comments actually, comments under some YouTube content between my dear friend John Binney and I. And it was regarding reflecting back on seeing a version of me from around 14 months ago and having this sudden shocking realization that 14 months ago, I looked 10 years older than I do now. I looked weathered, dry, dehydrated, haggard, and even my voice was like deep and hoarse. And I want to dive into that because I find it's really interesting. So, before I go dive in deeper, hello, beautiful soul. Welcome to Coffee Shop Chats. If you don't know already, I'm Chloe Rose, founder and creatrix of Mystic Hearts, your weird and wonderful witch. And Coffee Shop Chats is a weekly long format video where I invite you to join me with your favourite beverage of choice. Notepad and pen if you choose. If you're a studious one, if you're a note taker, please do feel free to do that. But it's a very casual and candid conversation. Sometimes I plan for them. Sometimes I want it to be a little bit more raw and go with the flow like today. And yeah, it's as though we are having this cozy and intimate conversation with a very open and empathetic heart, no judgment, and it's just really a safe space for us to reflect and ponder on perhaps some of the more unspoken topics of life, experiences. And it's just our safe space. It's our safe space to share and talk about things that are maybe a little bit taboo to the status quo. So, this is a first for me on a coffee shop chat. So it's like 4:30 in the afternoon here in the UK. I've had the most delicious day. I woke up, went out for a morning run, and was about 20 degrees, but with this gorgeous cold breeze coming in after the rain. And then I lounged around and had a leisurely breakfast, and then I just cleaned out my beautiful little office space that I have here. I cleaned out my room. I just did some slow organising. Then I had a bath, face mask, had a real pampering self-care day, went for a drive, and I live in the most gorgeous part of Oxfordshire, like right in the middle of the countryside, and I've got this cute little car with a convertible roof. So I was driving with the roof down, singing, dancing, just like soaking up the sun. Did a little bit of shopping. And now I've come back and I just really feel in the mood to share, and I am drinking the most delicious herbal tea. So it's got ashwagandha, hemp, peppermint, and a few other really yummy things in it, but it's just so it's refreshing, but it's also just like really calming and beautiful. And those of you that are regulars in joining me in coffee shop chats, you'll know that if it's something where I'm like need to be laser sharp focused and I've prepared for it, normally I'll have a coffee. If I'm talking about sensuality or self-love, I'll prepare a cup of cacao. If I'm on a cleanse or on a really super healthy mode, I'll have like coconut water or just straight water. But today I have this beautiful tea which just like smells like a summery herb garden. So if you haven't already and you'd like to join me, please do feel free to grab a beverage of choice. Oh, it's so good. I think I'm just going to hold on to it. So, yeah, I don't really know where this conversation is going to go and where it's going to flow. But there's been some themes that have been really weaving into my energy and my surroundings, my conscious and subconscious mind and experience recently. And some of it has been me reflecting a lot on versions of me. So going back to like me as a teenager, and then going back to me 14 months, 16 months ago, and really connecting with the energy of that. And it's really fascinating when we can do that, and connecting into the voice of that version of us, and like, what were they seeking? What was that version of me really seeking at the time? Because I look back on teenage version of me and I'm like, she was such a badass. I just wish she knew what a powerful dark goddess witch she was, because I did not know, and I was like totally out of control. Being a rebel and being reckless was like my way of taking my power back. So it was toxic, and it was chaotic. But she was a badass. She was the one that was like dyeing her hair all the crazy colours, getting all of like the crazy face piercings. I know I have them now, but I was even wilder then. I would say when I was a teenager, I was more like in my tomboy era, and now I'm like in my dark, divine, feminine, embodied rebel era. I'm in my villain era right now. Yeah, and just connecting to that. And then the energy that I really want to talk about today is where I was this time 14 to 16 months ago, and like why I looked so different. And the intention of this is to share with you a little bit about my journey and my experiences, to hopefully serve you in recognizing the magical power and importance of happiness. Like happiness, feeling happy and content in ourselves is real freedom and liberation. And there can be so many things that are in the way of that. But a lot of the time, we're stopping ourselves from being happy. Sometimes we don't realise it. Sometimes we do realise it and we're too scared to change it. Or sometimes we do realise it and we're not willing to change it, or we just hide from it. Also, this is pucker tea, which I don't know if you can get it anywhere other than the UK. But it's really nice organic tea brand. I do try not to drink tea bags because I know that they have microplastics in them, but some of these blends are just so delicious. Oh, and it's 444 on the clock. Abundance. That is the King Emperor energy coming through on the 444. I love that. Okay, that's my divine nod for this chat today, which is just totally unrehearsed. And it's really funny that so it was yesterday that my friend commented on a really old reel of me from about 14 to 16 months ago. And I watched it and I was like, oh, it made me cringe. It made me uncomfortable seeing that version of me, because I could see in my face how withered and weathered I was, but also this like kind of desperation to come out of that, but this like darkness and stuckness in my voice. And it was really interesting that I saw that yesterday, because on Monday, so I go to a pole dancing class every Monday, a group beginners pole dancing class, and it's full of like 20 women in their 20s. I'm 36 years old, 36 years young, actually. And we got there early, and we were just all having a chit chat, me and the girls, and we were all asking, like, you know, what do you do for work, and getting to know each other better. And we were asking like how old each other were, and then they asked me how old I am, and I said I'm 36, and they didn't believe me. And what I found totally shocking, to me this is shocking, like a lot of people tell me I look like 28, 29, and I can accept that, I can believe that. But a 22-year-old girl told me that she thought I was the same age as her. I was like, I am going to take that and I'm going to own that as a nod from the divine that I am taking care of myself. I'm taking care of myself. And I did want to talk about that, because we are in a world at the moment where capitalism has gone wild. It's gone totally bananas, totally bananas, to the point where it's like, if you've got a problem, I'm going to sell you the elixir that will fix it. And there's nothing wrong. Like, obviously, I'm a self-made, female-owned small business. I got to hustle and I've got to share what I do. But I'm not here to tell you that I'm going to fix you. I am here in service, like hand on heart, in service to hopefully empowering more of humanity in waking up and reclaiming their sovereignty, their power, their freedom, their happiness. I just want people to be happy and living a life in love. And that's what I'm selling. but I'm also not selling it. I'm just sharing it with you. But we are in this crazy day and age where it's like you can't like look at your phone, you can't turn on the TV without being presented with something that's telling you you're wrong and that they can sell you something to fix it. And now the problem with that is we get mass confusion. So much confusion that we are giving our power away totally and completely to other people, and we are losing track with that inner compass, which is our most reliable source of all wisdom, knowledge, information, health, is our own inner compass. And this confusion is taking us away from that. It's you know what they're saying, spoilt for choice. When we're spoilt for choice, it causes confusion, it causes like discombobulation, and just to the point where we're just like, oh, fuck it, basically. And that's dangerous. It's dangerous. And it makes us feel like there's something inherently wrong with us when there is not. We are a spark or a creation of the divine, each and every one of us. And the recognition of that within itself is more powerful and more potent than any pill or any supplement or any course that anyone can sell you. Love conquers all. And I don't say that lightly, and I'm not saying that in the love and the light and the positivity point of view. No, not at all. But truly, love conquers all. True love is brave. True love is so brave. And I'm going to go more into that. And so we're in this day and age. So on top of being sold something to fix everything that's wrong with us under the sun. There's also social media and influencers and celebrities telling us how we should look and what the standard of beauty and health is. Excuse me, beauty comes from within. Beauty comes from within. And I promise you, I swear to you, the more happy, the more content and kind and loving you are in your heart, the more beautiful you will be physically on the external. I promise you. You can see when someone is consumed by bitterness. You can see it in their face, the colour of their skin, in their posture. You can see that. It's like the difference of when you see these incredible stories of someone who has debilitating drug addiction, and they get sober, and not only do they get sober, but then they go on to serve and help others, and then they go on to like climb mountains, and then they go on to do all these things, and it's like they completely transform into a different human. And I feel that is really the theme or the message of what I'm trying to get across in this conversation today is we are in a world where we're being sold external masks and external fixes and tweaks, which, by the way, it's totally up to you what you decide to do with your body. But what I want you to know is that you are perfect, and you have been made in the eyes and in the vision and with the hands of the divine. You are perfectly imperfect. You are perfectly you and authentic. And if it is beauty that you're seeking, rather than seeking externally, seeking from within, finding all the parts of you that feel really ugly on the inside and seeing if you can love them, that is the biggest beauty hack I could give you ever. We are, like I said, we are being sold so much. It's like our energy and our own awareness of self is being taken, our money is being taken, and it's like, it's so simple that we need to just stop and come back into ourselves. It's like the holy grail, the elixir of life exists, first of all, within our own self-awareness and our own loving acceptance and awareness of ourselves, no matter what we've been through and no matter what life throws at us, seeing it as a divine lesson or turning point in our life, and then choosing to live in service of the divine, whatever that means to you, and getting rid of this bullshit separation about religion and spirituality. Like, I don't even like telling people anymore that I'm spiritual, and now I just tell people that I'm a witch. It just makes my life so much easier. But I am, well, just to tell you, by the way, what is a witch? A witch is a woman who is totally in control of herself. Let that blast through all your stereotypes and thoughts that you have about witches. A woman who is totally in control of herself. That is how I choose to identify. I don't really care about spiritual beliefs anymore. All I care about is how much you're loving yourself and how much you're choosing to live through love, no matter what life throws at you. Because that's where the real bravery comes in. So I wanted to go back and talk about this version of me 14 months ago. I've really been reflecting on her so much. And yeah, I mean, for those of you that don't know, most of you do know this, about 16 months ago, it's a bit complicated and a bit of a grey area, the actual dates, but a partner of mine of 3 years who were living together, we broke up. And when we broke up, it was like a spell that I was under was suddenly broken. And it's like the veil was lifted and I was slammed with a cold, hard platter of truth about how I was totally in denial the whole relationship, about how I was being treated and my standards and what I deserved and my happiness. And totally suppressed in my voice and my expression. And for those 3 years of my life, I was totally stuck. You know that feeling, and I often get clients to me saying like, I'm stuck, I need to break through. And I knew in that relationship, I was like, I'm doing everything right. I'm working on myself. I'm self-reflecting. Like I'm looking at myself for answers. I'm going deeper. And this voice kept saying to me, the only thing in my life that I could change is my relationship. And that was what was blocking me. And it's crazy. I just still couldn't accept that. I just still couldn't accept it. And, I'm not here to talk shit about anyone. I take full responsibility for allowing myself to get too deep, too quickly into a relationship with a man who did not meet my standards, but I allowed it from the beginning. And therefore, very quickly, I found that the behaviour on repeat was just digging deeper layers and layers and layers into me and causing me to just shrivel up and come into my shell. And that caused me to not be happy, and it caused me to be confused. And in those 3 years, and by the way, no regrets, but in those 3 years, if I hadn't been in a relationship that was draining and suppressing my energy because it was not in alignment, I could have grown and expanded my business tenfold. Like I said, no regrets, but I'm just reflecting. I'm honestly reflecting. But luckily, this past 8 months, I mean, my business has been on the most incredibly blessed and magical upward spiral. And it's because I've chosen to put myself first. But it's facing these cold, hard realizations of, I take full responsibility for that. And perhaps a part of me was just hiding behind the relationship because I didn't want to have to put the work in to really say yes to myself over and over and over again. And seeing photos of me, videos of me, I look drained, weathered is the right word. Like my skin is all dry and haggard. And you know what I found really weird? When I was in that relationship, I didn't wear any makeup. And there's something for me about being a woman, and some men, of course, and however you identify, there's something so fun about playing with makeup and about accentuating your features and wearing freckles and all of these things. And it just feels fun and it feels whimsical, and it's so lovely to give myself that time of doing that. It's a part of my self-care routine. And I didn't wear makeup. the whole time I was in that relationship. And that kind of freaks me out, because I was like, first of all, I wasn't showing up, like I didn't even want to do that for my partner, but I didn't want to do it for myself either. It was like I just was grey. That's how I best describe myself in that situation. My life felt grey. Internally I was grey. Externally I was grey. Even like the clothes I was wearing, I look back and I'm like, that is not me. That is not me. I've always been someone who's like to dress up, either like kind of sexy rock and roll or gothic style, or like tomboy style, or just a little bit like, you know, sexy. And it was none of that. I was like plain Jane. All of my authenticity, creative energy, inspiration, and life force had like a damp towel on it at that time. And that is really dangerous. It's dangerous. It was sucking the life out of me. For me to see a video of myself from just over a year ago and say, I look 10 years older, that's scary. That is scary. And that's why it's so important for us to take hold of our precious joy and recognize how important it is for us to be happy. I was so not happy for 3 years. There were moments where I was content. There were small snippets of fun and excitement. But on a day-to-day basis, I was not happy. I was not happy. And for whatever reasons, and I have healed those reasons now, mainly to do because of my father wound, I was choosing to ignore it and just choosing, you know, this man has chosen me, therefore I should be sacrificing my joy, what makes me me, you know, allowing my voice to be suppressed, allowing these small, passive, aggressive comments to be made that I didn't realise were just breaking me down and down, making me small, making me digestible for his purpose. It was killing me. It was aging me. Honestly, people I meet now tell me, like, how do you look so young? How are you so glowing? I would say a small part of it is what I eat and how I take care of myself. Yes, like I am healthy, but don't get me wrong. Like I love a coffee, love a cake. I will have the occasional glass of red wine. Never when I'm working, of course, like on holidays and things like that. You know, I'll eat a pizza. I'm not afraid to to eat. I'm not vegan anymore. Like I'm actually just a very liberated when it comes to these things. Yes, I exercise regularly. I'm a very active person, but that's also to support my my body. I'm hypermobile, so I can be prone to chronic inflammation, so I'm always moving and doing these things. But the main reason is because I'm happy, and I've finally chosen myself, and in choosing myself, I'm also choosing to honour my divinity. And let me try and explain that. So, by truly believing that I, you, and we are all this incredible divine creation here on earth, all witnessing each other, that makes me think like, wow, I should really make an effort to make my life as special as I can. And it also makes me focus on love. I promise you, if you wake up in the morning and look in the mirror and be like, hey sexy, how you doing? Do that for a month. You are going to find that you are glowing. You've lost a few pounds. I promise you. I literally guarantee you. I would bet money on it, because I talk about this over and over and over again. Our voice is our magic tool. Our minds are this incredibly intelligent program that can create and map out our reality. So therefore, our voice is the magical tool which is like the orchestral conductor of our thoughts that are shaping our reality. So whatever we outwardly speak puts even more potent power into the thoughts in our mind. But if we shy away from looking at ourselves, and if we're scared, sometimes, you know, and I had this winter, I had this moment of, I went to a pole dancing class, and this must have been January or February, and it's in a studio where all of the wall is mirrored. And when we're dancing, we have to just wear really small shorts and just like a small top. So, you know, you're really seeing your body. And I looked in that mirror and I thought, that's not the body of my dreams. And it wasn't with hatred, but I was just like, that's not the body of my dreams. And it was really interesting because I was just like, I actually have the power to make myself the hottest version of me ever. And that's what I have been doing. That's what I've been doing. And all it takes is just a little bit of willingness and curiosity to go on YouTube and just be like, how do I lose fat and build muscle? That's literally what I did. 36-year-old woman. How do I lose fat and build muscle? Simple. Followed a plan. We can allow our minds to tell us that something is not possible for us, but we can take charge of that. And that's what I did 14/16 months ago, when I decided that the relationship that I was in was not serving me in any way, shape or form. Despite friends and family members telling me that it was right for me, every fibre of my being was rejecting being in that relationship. So I ended it. And it's ended up being the most abundant, healthy, crazy, rough, transformative year of my life. But I put myself first, and I dedicated myself to getting to the bottom of why did I stay in that relationship and what was the cycle. And I chose to be the cycle breaker, and then to love myself, then just to pour love into that, pour love into the wounds. Yeah. My motto is, you're not here to be fixed, because you're not broken. Well, we are kind of broken. We're all a bit broken, but we're beautifully broken. But we're not here to be fixed. However, sometimes we really do need the healing. Sometimes we just need to dive arse deep into the healing and just embrace it. I think last year I did 5 or 6 hidden witch wounds, shamanic healings. I can't remember what else, but like a lot of really intense healings with other space holders. And that absolutely helped to transform me. It's almost like when you're ready to just be like, fuck it, like I am all in on changing my life and taking my power back and loving myself so deeply that nothing in this world can bring me down, the divine conspires to make that happen. And that's what I truly feel like last year was for me. It was a crazy year. Like, I couldn't even work. I didn't have a job. I mean, saying that, I was working, obviously. I have 2 businesses that I run. I still had those businesses, but it was minimal. It was like everything was stripped bare for me, and I had to face what was inside. I had to. And I chose to. I chose to embrace that. And that's how I've got to this space now where I feel content. I feel empowered. I feel liberated. I feel really, really comfortable in myself. I know my worth. Something that's really come through as well, I feel I'm so playful. I'm really playful. Like I said earlier, I was driving my car, singing and dancing. Well, one hand on the steering wheel, singing and dancing with the roof down, windows open. And then I looked over and there was this man on the scaffolding just staring at me like, and I just was like, hey, I'm having the best motherfucking day. And it's that silliness that unlocks joy. It really is. It's like that letting loose and being like, I am a crazy motherfucking fool. And it's just the best way to be. It's the best way to be. How long has this been? Oh, not too long. I have no idea if this conversation has been enjoyable, useful in any way, but I feel like I've got something off my chest. And if I can really connect, I've connected to the energy of that version of me. She was quiet, she was easily manipulated. Yeah, ooh. That one hurt when I said that. She was easily manipulated, that version of me. And I love her. She was always giving her power away to others. So I was never like making choices for myself. It was always to be adaptable to others. Always everything I did, it was like, oh, it'll fit in with you. And I have pulled that back now. I am like, no, it's got to be on my time, my schedule. My self-care and well-being comes first because the divine is within me, and therefore I am honouring the divine within me. And if I don't put myself first, I cannot be kind and loving and caring towards you. There's such a difference between strong boundaries of self-love and selfishness. You can feel the energy. It's so different. I don't even need to, I'm not going to patronize you by explaining that to you because it's all about the energy. You can feel it. But yeah, it's all about happiness and joy and choosing love. Love conquers all. Rinse and repeat. And slowing down as well, and knowing that it is totally okay to feel worthless, to feel useless, to feel broken, to feel like you're not getting anywhere in life. That is all programs and conditioning. Let me tell you, one of the biggest sort of roadblocks that like smacked me in the face last year was this really disgusting feeling of like, I've failed at life. Oh, I'm a failure because I was 35 years old, suddenly single, no children, ending a relationship, having to lose my home, moving in with a family member, all of these things. And I was like, none of that matters. None of that matters. None of that matters. That is all conditioning. It's all conditioning. We are divine beings. We get to choose our reality. Whether I choose to have a family or not, I'm perfectly imperfect. However long I need to stay living with family, perfectly imperfect. However long it takes me to have this pause in life to pour my heart and soul into my business, perfectly imperfect. Perfectly imperfect. And it's a lot of my happiness has been releasing the weight of those chains of societal expectations and programs and conditioning. Like, who cares? Who cares? I've read stories about people in their 70s who suddenly write a book and become a millionaire after a life of poverty. There are no rules in this game. We have free will choice. We have sovereignty. We get to play. And the sooner we start playing, the better. Yeah, and I really wanted to share that because this time last year I was not in control. I would say like pretty much all of my life I've not been in control because I haven't made the conscious choice to make my own happiness a priority. And that is what I did last year for the first time in my life. I said, I'm going all in on my own happiness. And here we are today. Here we are. And it's so interesting now, and I'll finish on this, but I've been dabbling in the dating scene in the last couple of months, and it's really fun because the last time I was dating was when I met my ex. It was like 4 years ago. And I was just like, I would latch onto the first person that gave me attention. And if they weren't giving me all the attention, I wasn't interested. It was so needy. And now I'm just like, this is fascinating. You know, you can take me out. I'm the one in control. I set the rules. I set the pace. I am a queen on her throne. And I'm loving every minute of it. And I'm not going to lie to you, there are moments when that little voice comes in and it's like, oh, you know, like you're old, or you better hurry up and sort your life out. And do you know what I say to that? And also, just to share with you something productive, when that voice comes in, it is actually, every part of me is just yearning for some self-care. It's not because the voice is true. It's not because I'm low vibration. It's just because I'm a little bit starved of self-care. And yeah, I had that. I didn't have it so much yesterday, but an experience that I had yesterday. Thursdays are a very, very busy working day for me. And yesterday just so happened that it was like back to back to back appointment of different appointments. So I teach yoga, but I also have Mystic Hearts, which is my quantum energy and psychic work, quantum energy healing and psychic readings. I have that. And yesterday was a mixture, and I had an appointment that I had to go out to, and it was just all crazy. And it got to 5 p.m. after my last client, and you know, I had all these plans to do exercise and to finish off some admin, and my body was just like, no, absolutely not. And I could just feel this sort of gremlin in me coming out and starting to get really like bitter, and just like I can get a bit touchy when I'm drained of self-love. So I let it all go. I just let it all go, let my commitment to exercise go, let the admin go, and I just lay on my bed, poured myself a lovely refreshing drink, lay on my bed and just replied to voice notes, because I was like, you know what, friendship and connection is more important than work. We're not machines, we're human beings. So I did that. Took time. I was making dinner and singing and dancing. And then I just put my feet up and I watched I actually don't watch TV. But last night I was like, I just need my mind to numb. Put my feet up, put a blanket on me, watch TV till about 10 o'clock, had an early night, woke up today just being like, yes, that was such a prayer to my need for self-care and self-love. That's something that I wanted to add at the end of this video. It's just this little seed that I'd wanted to speak about earlier. It's finally, luckily, before the end of this video, I've remembered it. But it's something that was just like a little light bulb moment reminder for me this morning. Was like, there's so many, and again, this is like, the selling thing, like selling you things that will make you sleep and selling actually there's so much medicine and power in just letting ourselves rest and slow down, and that can be so hard for some of us to do. Because you can be one of those people who are so on it. You're like, yeah, I get my 8 hours sleep every day. I go to bed at the same time, wake up at the same time every morning. And, I eat all this healthy food and blah, blah, blah. But you can still feel drained. You can still be suffering from stress and anxiety. Because, yes, of course, sleep is such an important part of our health. But are you resting? Are you prioritizing stillness? Are you able to allow yourself to have a bath at 1 p.m. in the afternoon? Did that today. It was glorious. I mean, look, I am glowing from it. Are you giving yourself that permission to put your rest and self-care above and beyond anything else? For the sake of the divine, because it brings you joy. But there was just so much medicine in throwing everything out of the window last night and just resting and relaxing. And there can be the other end of the spectrum where we actually rest and relax too much, and perhaps our body wants us to spring into action. Like maybe our body wants us to go out for walks and explore and play and try new things. There's a beautiful divine balance in both. But resting and being still, slowing down and just being present, that is when we connect to the divine, because we are coming back in alignment, in the rhythm, in harmony with the present moment. And that is where all the magic lies. That is where all of the madness of the world stops. That's where all of the darkness and the regret and our shame of our past doesn't exist. And we are just in this space of peace. And that is our natural human state. It's our beautiful, natural, divine state. But for whatever reasons, we are being pushed and pulled in different directions. And one of our own power tools is choosing to just slow down and be. And I feel like that's something that I want to end this on, as it's just left a really beautiful and peaceful feeling in my heart. So I hope and I pray that this weekend, wherever you are in the world, you find peace and you find joy and you can find love in everything that you do, or at least in something that you do, because I couldn't ask for anything more. And I love you so, so, so much. Fantastical Friday blessings from my heart to yours. I love you.